Good morning. Welcome to Sack Check, everybody. I haven't made a video in about 6 or 7 days, but I'm happy to be back and talking to you and feeling good. And I hope you are too. I know we talk a lot about, prayer, learning to pray, just taking the action of prayer, just putting it out there, talking, surrendering, trying it. Just try it, man. It works. And so I always try to emphasize that it's prayer is a guaranteed action to shift your perception. It will shift your perception. Just try it. And I always tell people to keep it simple, man. Don't ask for a new car or, a lover, you know what I mean, or the lover to leave. I always just keep it simple and ask my higher power to help me handle the day. That's all I want to do, man. I want to have some composure and I want to handle the day. Just saw some vultures on the side of the road eating a deer. You got to give them their respect. And so, I just ask my God, who sometimes I call Chewy, to help me handle the day. But anyways, I wanted to talk today, after encouraging you to keep practicing prayer, I want to talk today about dealing with unresolved conflict. That is part of life. Some hurts and pain and angers are never ever going to get resolved. And since we were just talking about prayer and having God help me make it through the day, that's one thing we can apply prayer to. Say you're mad at your father, or you're mad at a loved one, and the communication is just not working. It's not working. You're trying, and people are not being accountable. They're just going to the blame and excuses and defensiveness and being contrary and all those things that get in the way of our hearts connecting. All that stuff gets in the way. I just say, hey, God, help me. Will you help me, man? I can't take the anger. I don't want to be in pain. And immediately, my perception shifts. Immediately. Now, it doesn't necessarily shift to complete peace, although sometimes it does. But it does shift to a little more understanding and being able to lessen the burden of this inner conflict. So keep trying prayer. Let's see. My stepfather passed recently, and he was a child batterer. In fact, he went to jail he was also a wife beater, and he went to jail for that, and I had a lot of unresolved conflict with him. He was of a mind to never talk about it, never apologize. It just either it hurt too much for him to look at it, or that's just the way he was. That's the era he grew up in, or the way he was raised in his household. But he never wanted to ever bring it up, or I thought maybe an apology would happen someday. Not just the beatings and the abuse on me, but my mom. He really touched her often, and finally went to jail for it. But anyways, no, he wasn't going to do that, and I stayed in prayer. I just say, hey, God, will you help me get through it? And he ended up doing hospice in my house. I don't know how it happened, but I live in the spirit world, and you live in the spirit world. weird things happen, and spiritual things happen. And he ended up doing hospice in my living room after me not seeing him what seems like 10 years. It might have been only 8, but it seemed like 10 years. And man, I went from resentment to reverence. You know, we never did talk about anything, but there was some sort of shift that occurred because of prayer, that I started seeing all the good things he did for me. How he taught me about work discipline, how he taught me about not shortchanging employees, how he taught me about paying your taxes. Now, he never was a good talker. He just led by example, and he taught me every day is Monday if you ever want to get anywhere. He used to always say that, especially when you're running your own business. So anyway, while he's laying in my living room and passing away, my perception is shifting. My soul is shifting. And I just lost all that anger, man. I lost it all. And I came away with reverence, and I love him. And I'm grateful. And someone must have beat the tar out of him, is what I came away with, for him to be so angry and so, physically violent. But that all passed, and that he made me part of his trust. And I didn't know that was going to happen. I never expected it. That never even entered my mind. But anyway, so things can change. And I mentioned the spirit world, change the topic a little bit, and you're probably attracted to the spirit world. And the spirit world, the gates to the spirit world start. It's a big gate. There's a lot to do, but one of the things, it turns out, the more I think about you, and the less I think about me, the happier I am. Now, that may not add up to you, but that's the gate. One of the gates to the spirit world is selflessness and thinking about others. And what can you do to be helpful to somebody today? Can you call somebody and prompt them to talk about themselves, and you be a good listener? Can you do that? Can you volunteer? Anything. You can volunteer at a funeral service. You can spend an hour down at the pound. You look online, and there's things to volunteer. That's one way to do it. But we can volunteer to our very own family and friends, which is probably more practical. I don't know your situation. But I spend great portions of my day thinking about others and how I can be helpful. And that's how I live. One of the ways that I live in the spirit world. Another way is through suffering. And we'll save that. We'll save that for the next video. I have to remember to talk about suffering. Suffering in a good way, in a real good way. But it is suffering. And anyways, so nice to talk to you. Glad to make another video. I'll get my girl Jamie back on the videos. She got more views than any of my videos, and she only did like 15 seconds. At any rate, oh man, I feel so good, and I hope you do too. Talk to you soon.